Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of tea with snacks if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about a woman who tried to take OP's dog, telling it's hers, and then police came. Please subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy it. Running a school is a never-ending source of entitled parent stories. I have detailed in other posts some of my more amusing experiences, the mother who stormed my office, the mother who demanded I change my signature because she didn't like it. Recently I had another run-in with an entitled mother. Where are all the entitled dads? Time to represent brothers. Who, it seems, wanted me to do something about the pandemic. Due to the pandemic restrictions imposed on us, we planned a virtual graduation ceremony. Our very talented teachers spent something like 50 hours shooting, compiling and editing a 90-minute tribute video, and we held a curbside delivery for diplomas. We also set up a photo booth for grad pics so parents could capture the moment as best as they could under the circumstances. When I announced our plan to the community, I received a very heated email from a mother. "I cannot and will not accept the plans for this year's graduation," she began. She sternly chastised us for our lack of insight and laziness in having a virtual graduation. She went on to express her belief that her daughter deserved better. The school, she opined, owed it to her and the other parents to recognize their children's accomplishments properly. In her view, the only proper celebration must allow the students to celebrate together as a class, and, if the school wasn't prepared to do it, she would do it herself on her 100-acre property. In reply, I ignored her astonishing insults. Instead, I decided to give her exactly what she wanted: permission. I very graciously thanked her for the offer and gave her the benefit of my experience running large-scale school events. She would need to have the following in place: paid duty police for security, $50 per hour x 3 hours, x 2 officers minimum to 100 people. Sufficient public liability insurance, minimum $2 million. An accessibility plan for people with disabilities and appropriate accommodations. A communication and inclusion plan to ensure everyone is notified and invited, not just her hand-picked bunch. A permit from the city bylaw office. A dispensation from the province of Ontario allowing her to exceed the outdoor gathering size limit of 5 people. Permission from the local public health office to stage an event. Access to shade and rest areas for anyone overcome by heat and an inclement weather plan, including appropriate shelter in the event of a thunderstorm or tornado. Suitable and sufficient outdoor toilet facilities for approx. 600 people. Suitable space for parking, sufficient parking lot attendants, and a traffic management plan. Safe access to fresh water for all attendees. A stage, sound system, decorations, rental chairs, tables, etc. and a generator. A method for administering and recording a COVID self-screen to all invitees in accordance with provincial requirements. A seating plan, observing 2 meters distance, and a method for recording the attendance and contact information of all attendees for contact tracing purposes. A videographer and photographer and informed consent from every parent to allow their kid to be photographed or video recorded. I pointed out that due to privacy restrictions, I was unable to share any personal information about any student with her, so she would be on her own to contact everyone. Furthermore, as this would be a private event, school staff would not attend, we would not provide the diplomas or awards, nor would we support, endorse, advertise or promote it. She was also not permitted to use the school's name or imply this was a school event due to liability concerns. The usual guest speakers would support only our official graduation, so she would need to arrange her own. I offered the names of several motivational speakers we have hired in the past, with fees ranging from $1,500 to $4,000. I wished her luck with her plans. Surprisingly, she changed her mind. "Thank you so much for how much work you're doing. All it takes is one idiot like this lady to make people feel worthless, and I hope you know how much your labor is going to matter to so many more." I'm still not sure if this really happened or if I was hallucinating from the heat, because this has never happened to me before. So I'm home from college for the summer, and whenever I'm here I work with my grandpa, who's a surveyor, as I have since I was 16. One of the places we regularly work at is a small airport in our town, small as in there's a few runways, and the planes are all those small ones that fit like 6 or 7 people max. The people who work there know both me and my grandpa personally, as we're the only surveyors they use, since my grandpa has all the plats of the area. Well, one day, we go down at around 8 a.m. and head around to the side where they've dug out a mound for another holding building. To get into said dugout mound, you have to drive alongside a road, off onto a dirt path, and up to a locked gate to keep people out to the best of their abilities. We drive up to the gate and no one's there to let us in as per usual, so my grandpa tells me to wait at the jeep while he walks over to the other building to get someone. I'm standing there by myself and after probably 10 minutes, an SUV pulls up behind the jeep and a woman sticks her head out the window. "Excuse me? Could you move your car so I can go through?" I'm sorry but no one is allowed through the gate unless you work here." "Well, do you work here?" "Not exactly but..." "Well then you don't dictate who can go through or not. Now please move your car, I'm in a rush to take my kids to school." She gave me a really tight-lipped smile and I looked through her windshield to see two bored-looking kids in the back seat. The nearest school, elementary, was about a 20-minute drive away and it started at 7:15 a.m., so they were already late I assumed. "I'm sorry, but I don't even have the key to open the gate." "Listen young lady, my kids need to get to school immediately. So move your car out of my way and let me through. This is an airport entrance, ma'am, no one is allowed to just drive over the runways and land, it's restricted." Does it look like I have the time for those rules? My kids are top of their class and have their gifted classes today, and if you do not let me through, they are going to be late and miss them. "Again, I'm sorry, but I don't have the key to open the gate even if it was allowed." This time, she didn't even verbally responded, instead deciding to apparently lean on her car horn. I was at the back of the jeep and her car right in front of me, so the horn was incredibly loud to my already sensitive ears. I held my hands over my ears and just got into the jeep to try and block it out. As soon as I got in, she let up, I guess thinking I was going to move. Instead, I just sat in the driver's seat and waited. Not even a minute passed before she came up and freaking knocked on the window. "Lady," shouting through the glass. "If my kids get kicked out of enrichment and failed 5th grade, it will be all your fault. I hope you can live with that." Then, she stormed back to her car and finally left. I told my grandpa what happened when he got back and he just laughed for a good 10 minutes. I don't think she realizes that the term gifted means special needs class, not top of the class. Once again, using their children to let people know that they're idiots. You just never know when something like this will happen. I don't usually deal with people like this, and I don't want to, but sometimes crap happens as they say. I posted here not long ago figuring that story was the top I dealt with. This now takes the cake, and the other is now second. Backstory. Recently it's been snowing a lot. Every time it's bad enough, schools in our area end up cancelled due to the road conditions. Mainly they just want the buses off the roads, so the plows can do their thing. We also happen to have a park right next to our house, and every snow day or off day it's not unusual for kids to play on the snowbanks or play in the snow. It's also noteworthy to understand that my two dogs, a sheltie and black lab, are pent up due to the weather. This makes them more excitable than usual, especially the little one that likes kids. You should start to see where this is going, so I'll move on. About a half a week ago we got hit with more than 5 inches in the night. Bad enough for school to end up cancelled the following day. Me and my wife shoveled the drive and the walk, then after decided to take our dogs out. When we take our dogs out we don't always use leashes, they are usually very good with staying in the yard as long as you watch them. Right now I'll put emphasis on usually. Our little dog, seeing the kids next door at the park playing and being pent up, gets distracted. I call to her to come in, instead she takes one look at me and then dashes over to the park. I quickly put in our other dog and turn to head over. From what I can see she is playing with some kids when some blonde lady reached down to pick her up. Our sheltie is small enough but not light by no means and doesn't like being lifted up, so I can see her struggle in the lady's arms, but this lady's death grip won't let go. I rush over as she gets halfway to the parking lot and this conversation ensues. Me. EM. Entitled Mom. C. Cop. I rush over partially out of breath. Thanks for catching her, she got away on me. If you set her down I can take it from here. Take what? Go away. What? That's my dog you have, and I need to get her home. This poor thing has obviously been abandoned, and I have 2 lovely kids with me who can take care of him. Ma'am, that's my dog and she wasn't abandoned, she just got away on me. Well, he mustn't have liked it with you if he ran away, so he should come home with me. She looked over and I noticed 2 kids I didn't notice before. They looked ecstatic and gave their own version of yeah, puppy and whatnot. I did not want this lady walking off with my dog though, so I reached out and grabbed her collar. The lady tried to snub me by quickly turning away, but with me now attached, she had no choice but to stop and deal with me. Let go of my dog, get the hell away. She once again tried to tug my dog, but I refused to let go. I was afraid that if this lady got away I would never see my poor pup again. Just because you want my dog doesn't mean she's yours. Possession is 9/10 of the law, so back off. I hate that excuse. Well, I'm not letting you take my dog, put her down. She looks at me with this really intense hateful look. It was like watching a volcano just as it starts to erupt. First you see the steam, the warning signs, and then it bursts open. The eruption. She then erupts forth with all she's got. Help, he's trying to steal our dog, help. She then lifts up one hand, clamps down on my dog with the other, and starts pounding me. What the hell are you doing? Is all I can manage to say in between punches. Finally I just can't handle it, and when she stopped for a second I reacted. I open palmed her with my left, backhanding her. She lets go of my dog and I catch her. We both fall to the ground and I hold my dog for dear life because I was afraid that if I let go this lady would swoop her up and make a run for it. This witch then screams at me that she is calling the cops. I was afraid but didn't know what to do. I couldn't let go of my dog, and if I ran home it would probably look bad. Now just note, dear readers, that there are no other adults around despite there being a lot of kids. Instead, some of the kids nearby stop to gawk, and her kids look like they are about to cry. She pulls out her phone and starts to angrily tell the person on the other end how this idiot ran up to her, her kids, and tried to steal her dog. She really goes for it. Now and again she kicks snow at me and at one point got really close to kicking me in the head. All I could do is watch while holding my now very nervous dog from doing anything that could make it worse. This whole time my poor pup didn't bark, and beyond trying to get away several times from this crazy lady, hasn't made any action against anyone. Being a small town, it didn't take long for a cop to show up. He walked up and demanded I let go of the dog, but I refused. Me. I'm not going to do that. She tried to steal my dog when she got away from me and even attacked me. Crap, she interrupted, you attacked us and tried to make off with my dog. If I was trying to run off with your dog, then why am I still here then? Because you're just a stupid thief. The both of you shut up. Explain to me what happened. EM looks at the officer and explains how I attacked her while they were enjoying the park. Then showed the cop the red mark I left on her cheek. He looked at me and gave me the here now criminal look, and I knew I had to think of something. Then I figured something out. The whole time she called my dog a he, she doesn't know my dog. Can you prove to us that this is your dog? She got caught off guard. She visibly frowned and folded her arms. I don't have to prove anything, I explained what happened. Well, being the owner, you should know his name. I jingled the dog tags a little to show off a little. I just wanted to make sure the officer was understanding where I was going with this. I shouldn't have to, it's private. Who the hell privatizes a dog's name? Just tell us. No. The officer must have caught the vibe. Tell us the dog's name. Or I'll just arrest you both, and the dog can wait at the local shelter for things to get sorted out. She stammered, it was obviously she had to think about it. My dog's name is Oliver. She screeched. I get a smug look, because I know I got her. I looked up at the officer. First off, he is a she and her name is Kyrie. Yes, that Kyrie. I relaxed my grip and pulled off the collar. I handed the officer the collar plus tags. He looked it over and confirmed what I said. Ma'am, I don't think this is your dog. The tags really do say the name Kyrie, not Oliver. Sir, can I get your side? He hands me the collar and I explain things. How my dog got away from me, how this lady picked her up and ultimately attacked me. Then how I smacked her in self-defense. The whole time this lady is giving me daggers with her eyes, and her kids seem to be sobbing not far away. Do you want to press charges? Yes, I do. Ma'am, at this point we can do things the easy way or the hard way. But this should be our dog. He abandons him. She wasn't abandoned, she got away. The officer pulled out his cuffs and walked over to EM. She got the hint and clammed up at this point. Do you have a place for the kids to go while we wait? For what? He then cuffs her, reads her rights and walks her over to the car. While she is getting in, they say a few things and the mother calls out. You two get into the van, mommy will deal with this. The two kids are crying, but the older brother holds it together enough to guide his sister to the light blue minivan that was there. The cop watches, and as they get in he came back to me. I really think he was annoyed about the whole thing from the tone of his voice. "You can go now, sir, just don't let your dog get out again." I was very relieved and let go of my dog. It felt great to call her name and have her follow me home. My wife saw the whole thing from our living room window and was in tears. She was about to call the cops as well when she saw him attack, but didn't get to it before the cops showed up. I explained what happened and she was also very relieved. We watched to see what would happen. The cop car didn't go anywhere. Eventually a car pulled up and two guys got out. One guy talked to the officer while the second hopped into the van. Not long after, the car and van drive off and the cops soon after. We planned on putting up a fence, but now plan on doing that much sooner. Also, I didn't get hurt too much. If anything else, it really surprised me and I panicked. Let's hope she loses custody over her kids and goes to jail for a long time. If you haven't already, you should get your dog chipped in case this happens again in the future. That way there is always proof that she is your dog. BK. Entitled Kid, 25 years old. EM. Entitled Mom. Me. Cashier at a convenience store. I will preface this story by saying that if a customer looks like they could be under 40 years old, you have to check their ID for age-restricted items like cigarettes. It must be a government-issued photo ID, and it cannot be expired. Can I get a pack of, insert cigarette type here? Sure, just need to see your ID. Yes, sure, hands me ID. I'm sorry, this is expired. I'm not allowed to accept it. Do you have another form of ID? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm 25, it literally says I'm 25. I know, I agree, it's really stupid, but I could get in a lot of trouble. It's the law. I'm really sorry. Whatever, storms out. A few minutes later, a middle-aged woman walks in. Are you seriously refusing to sell cigarettes to my son? I'm sorry, I can't accept an expired ID. He's 25. I understand that, but I still have to follow the law. I think the law is stupid too, but I could lose my job. This is absolutely ridiculous. He's never had a problem with any other cashier. I'm sorry, I can't take the risk. There is no freaking risk. Just give me the freaking cigarettes. I ring her up, which I really wasn't supposed to do since I knew she was buying them for him, but at this point I was almost expecting this witch to attack me. Have a nice day. Yeah, whatever, witch. We got a 1-star review that night with a comment that said rude cashier. I'm pretty convinced it was the mom, but customers are the freaking worst, so honestly it could have been anyone. I'm so happy to be out of retail. Stand your ground, OP. You know what is the law. Uphold it. Nothing wrong with selling them to the mother, however. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a woman who went to a milk station and put on a crap show cause she thinks milk is too expensive. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.